First Alert Weather Day special report.
Oh, good evening. I'm 7 First Alert meteorologist Hallie Vogel. Of course, we've been tracking this winter storm all day. We'll continue to track it through tonight. And I know a lot of people, of course, watching the big game, trying to get home tonight. So I want to track your hour-by-hour forecast to let you know what conditions are going to be like by the time the game wraps up, or even when you're headed out in the morning. Of course, hundreds of school closes, and you want to check out our website for that as well. But let's get to the forecast, and let's get to some of those snowfall totals. Rather impressive across Monroe County, closing in on a foot in Temperance in Monroe County. Romulus at the airport, almost 10.5 inches, and we're adding on to these, of course, because the snow is still falling. Monroe, 10 inches. The city of Ann Arbor, 9. You can see the list go down to Allen Park at about 8 inches. What we're dealing with, a winter storm warning until 7 o'clock in the morning. That covers all of us in the metro area. And there are different components to this major winter storm. Not only the snow itself, but the winds are picking up as the area of low pressure passes just off to our south, creating blowing and drifting snow, even hard to measure at times. And then once it does start to move on through, it's going to continue to draw in some very cold air, frigid wind chills, and we're looking at wind chills below 0 on many cases tomorrow morning. So we're looking maybe 5, even 10. I'll show you that in just a few minutes. As far as the snow bands right now, some of the heavier snow bands situated near and just north of I-69. If I were to draw a line right there, you can see through Flint, Lapeer, trying to edge into areas like Port Huron. These rates are about 1 inch an hour, and that is not too unusual from what we've been seeing late afternoon through the evening hours. They will start to back down. I'm anticipating it's not going to end the snow, but it will back down after about 10 o'clock tonight, and then we'll start to see the remaining things wrapping up toward morning hours. These are wind gusts, so you anticipate sustained winds, meaning longer duration winds, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. But some of these stronger gusts, like in Windsor, 35 miles per hour right now, up to 25 in Pontiac, and also at Metro, also at Port Huron, reporting some of those strong northeast winds. And when we look at our actual forecast for wind gusts, you can see we're not seeing much relief even into the morning hours tomorrow. So another factor, as I talked about, wind chills, it's going to be a big deal as we go through your day tomorrow, because our actual temperatures are only going to be in the teens. So prepare for that if the kids do want to play in the snow. Of course, a lot of schools closed. Now we're looking at our fast graphic. This is our first alert storm threat, how we rate different categories. Snowfall rates right now, up to about a 4, meaning 1/2 inch to 1 inch an hour in many locations. The winds increasing, that's going to be a factor, as I mentioned, with blowing and drifting snow. The cold temperatures, need to bundle up, and then roads, just a mess, trying to clean things up as the snow comes down at a pretty good rate. Now we start to look also at the dynamics on more of a wider perspective. At one point, the storm was the length over 1,000 miles wide, believe it or not. So we have a lot of land to get through, a lot of coverage before we really start to see the back edge. But I anticipate things to improve through the overnight. Winter storm warnings from Iowa all the way to the East Coast. And you can just see how that cold air just backing that system. 19 below the air temperature, International Falls, 1 below in Fargo. Right now it is 20 degrees at Metro, but teens elsewhere. And you saw those winds, you saw those wind gusts, so you can imagine it really knocks down wind chills. Feels like 2 below in Windsor, 7 degrees at Metro, only 2 degrees in Pontiac, and those wind chills will drop even more so. So for tonight, temperatures down to near 11 degrees, still anticipating some of this heaviest snow to fall up until about 10. That's around about time. Keep in mind, you're going to see a lot of blowing and drifting continuing. And then a quick look at some of those wind chills by 9 o'clock. We're talking anywhere from 5 to almost 15 degrees below 0, with highs only in the teens tomorrow. Groundhog Day. I imagine that Woody the Woodchuck and Hal is going to say, forget about it. But overall, we are looking at least several more inches to fall as we go through tonight. So we're going to have to tack on to some of those snowfall totals. And Alex is here. And I know you've been so busy on social media, and I'm sure maybe some questions out there.
Yes, people going crazy over the snowstorm. One question we had, a lot of questions about possible snowfall records today at all.
We did tweet that. Let's get to the graphic. I'll show you that graphic right now. And as far as snowfall record, yes, we did set a snowfall record for Detroit. Not to turn my back on you, Alex. I'm gonna show you if we can take the computer, I'll show you that we are at 10.4 inches so far. And of course, adding on to that, so we did break a daily snowfall record in Detroit. The old record 9.8 back in 1881. And a lot of people say, what if you get a foot of snow? Is it all that common? It's really not. We've only seen a foot of snow or more recorded in history 12 times. And we are so far, Adam, what is it, 25th place so far? Or 20, we're up to about 25th place for the largest, quote, snowstorm.
That's
not bad.
Crazy. Great. Yeah. And Freddie had a specific question.
Okay.
He said, how much more snow in the Canton area?
I
He just
know,
wants to know.
keep on shoveling, don't we? But I would say about another 2 to 3 inches.
Okay.
You know, it's going to start tapering off through the overnight, but yeah, enough to just keep up with it.
And our last tweet, when is it going to end? I know you touched on it a little bit, but Metro Detroit area, when is the snow going to taper off a little bit?
The back edge looks to be about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then believe it or not, we should see some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon, although it's going to be really cold.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to Twitter, see what people are tweeting about.
Thanks for all your help. And of course, we want you to get home safely after your Super Bowl parties, so just take it slow. Roads are going to be a mess, and I anticipate it all the way through the morning, but bundle up, and of course, we'll have a full forecast on 7 Action News at 10 and 11 tonight.
This has been a 7 First Alert Weather Day special report.